sitting right here with us. You're joining us today. We're always on this mission to uncover the most innovative ways to teach adults.
Right, because it's completely different from teaching kids.
Well, absolutely. We really want to find out what actually works when you're trying to deal, a chaotic environment. So today, our listener, Sydney Remedy, fascinating primary document.
It really is.
Yeah. We're looking at a 2019 to 2020 prophecy by a trainer named Johann. Normally, sponsored course report sounds, well, about as thrilling as.
Yeah, you derive statistics, maybe some pie charts.
Right, and just a mountain of bureaucratic jargon.
It's supposed to be clinical. I mean, most of these documents are just sterile accounts of hours logged, attendance taken.
Just checking boxes.
Exactly, just to satisfy some administrative requirement somewhere.
But then, specific dossier, suddenly that box of chalk is like explode vibrant, chaotic marketplace.
Yeah, it's unexpected.
We're basically looking at it's more psychological, human research.
Way to put it.
So, just set the scene. This was a 100-hour course, and it was held for 29 years at AMC School of Business in Malaysia.
Remember, these are people who've already worked a full day.
Yes, they're exhausted. Their mental bandwidth is totally depleted, and now they're sitting down. So, light construction in the evening.
That context is everything. I mean, you're fighting an immediate battle against a standard textbook, and in this case, the curriculum dictated the headway of the intermediate series. It's simply not going to cut through that level of cognitive fatigue.
No way. And that's what makes this such a compelling story. It's a trainer battle classic abilities of adult learning,
Oh, the chronic lateness.
And massive insecurity. Crippling. And he's using the most creative weapons available, like pop culture, heated debate, marketplace games. It is. And just when the class hits its stride, it faces the ultimate world-stopping disruption, the sudden outbreak of pandemic, Malaysian Cold War, or MCO. Okay, let's unpack it.
The most logical place to start is how the trainer bypassed that initial exhaustion factor.
Grammar to someone who's falling asleep at their desk.
Exactly. You just can't.
So that brings the Monday video comprehension.
Monday.
The trainer just the dry workbook exercises and went straight to modern multimedia. So we're talking YouTube, Netflix, documentaries.
Anything to wake them up.
And to me, it's like blending spinach into a fruit smoothie.
Oh, I like that.
Right. The comedy and the drama act as the fruit. It's sweet. It's immediately. But this is the high level syntax and cultural context they're digesting without even realizing they're actively studying.
What's fascinating here is the bypass of the effect. Yeah. So when adults try to learn second language, their biggest barrier is often self-consciousness.
Oh, absolutely. Fear of sounding silly.
It's translating word for word, agonizing over getting the rules perfect. But by putting you pull their focus outward.
It makes total sense.
They aren't dissecting sentences anymore. They're immersed in the flow of culture.
And the specific media were really highly strategic. Like the report details the use of a classic British comedy program called The Intelligence.
Used it specifically to teach double entendres and wit. Which
is so hard. Like if you try to explain the concept of the double entendre on a whiteboard, it's incredibly dry.
Oh yeah. Here's phrase A.
Exactly. You have to explain the one phrase, which usually relies on deep cultural.
But watching a comedy sketch allows the students to actually observe the timing, right? The body language, the reaction to life.
Yeah, it clicks instantly. And he balances that linguistic stretch by bringing in films from the legendary Malaysian cinema, Ramlan. He's this distant resonant.
Tell the students that the English language isn't just an import, It's a tool they can use to express their own content.
And there's a structural mechanism driving classes too. The report explicitly notes that 50% of the students' final marks came on group work based on the
That is a massive grade relying entirely on output.
Yeah.
So he baked peer support directly into grading.
Right.
If a student missed the punchline in the Intelligence Men because of a vocabulary gap, they had to rely on their group members to deconstruct the joke for them. It structurally mandates teamwork, which establishes the psychological safety net that adult learners desperately.
So, because the students were now comfortable dissecting comedy together, the trainer could leverage that newfound confidence to tackle the real of language, which is great.
The dreaded.
As education consultant, my assumption is that this is where the fun stops. You can watch all the movies you want. Eventually, you have to memorize tense.
Yeah, you have to know.
So I assume the teacher would just have to.
Well, you would think so. But here's where it flips the script entirely. On Fridays, the focus shifted to those mechanics, but it culminated in what the report calls the grammar gallery walk.
I love this. The photos of the reporter just he turned the physical classroom into a bus. Exactly like vendors at a farmer's market.
But instead of selling foods, they were portraying different English tenses.
Right. So one stall is the past tense, another is the future. And to invent physical games and mini lessons to offer to the sort of
interactive.
Himself, incredibly focused, being challenged by a past tense word. The student stalls.
The teacher physically becomes and submitting to a game designed by it's a powerful inversion classroom.
But I do want to look at this. Okay. If I'm a student who struggles with past tense and my assignment is someone else in loud, chaotic, free-for-all marketplace setting, there seems to be a massive risk that students might just teach each other the wrong grammar rules.
Right. It's a valid concern, and honestly, it's the primary reason conservative educators avoid these kinds of dynamic activities altogether.
Because they lose control.
Exactly. But pedagogy, cognitive benefits of peer-to-peer teaching far outweigh the risk of temporary localized errors.
So.
This leverages the protege. When a student knows they're responsible for teaching a concept to a peer, they process that information far more deeply than if they were just studying it for a multiple choice.
The specific questions.
Yes, they can't just memorize a definition and the mechanics well enough to troubleshoot someone else's confusion in real time.
That's a huge cognitive.
It is. By forcing the students to design the game from scratch, they internalize the text. It shifts the dynamic from passive reception, sitting at a desk, to active instruction. And for a classroom with a wide spectrum of abilities, this levels the playing field.
Everyone can do something.
Exactly. Even if a student struggles with complex vocabulary, they can contribute heavily to the game's mechanics or the visual layout of the stall. It creates a highly engaging, low-stakes environment for practice. High stakes.
That makes a lot of sense. But building those grammar stalls is one thing inside a safe, controlled classroom. Eventually, you have to wear the Band-Aid off and test this.
Out in the real.
Yeah. And here's where it gets really interesting.
Oh, the Discovery Project.
Yes. The trainer introduced a project called a current issues discovery. The students gathered into brought in daily information, formulated interview questions, and then
wow. And they were not doing basic work.
Not at all.
They were just asking strangers. Ordering a coffee.
Far from it. They were tackling the deeply controversial and culturally sensitive topics.
Yeah, real heavy stuff.
The report details one research and interview people on the exception.
Yeah.
And just to pause here for our listeners, our goal today is to take a political stance or debate the politics of these topics. We're purely looking at the pedagogical strategy.
Right. We're just reporting what they do.
Exactly. And from then adult learners out to discuss that multiple it's a very high-risk.
Huge.
The trainer himself described the exercise as scary but productive.
But that here, exactly the mechanism.
Wait, really?
Yeah, it's the ultimate cognitive distraction technique. See, adult learners obsess over their mistakes. They will freeze up mid-sentence, worrying if they use the right article or conjugated a verb perfectly. But when you force them into a high-stakes conversation with a stranger about a complex, emotionally charged current event,
Oh, I see.
they're working not have the capacity to worry about grammar anymore.
The cognitive load is by the social.
Exactly. They drop it because they have to focus totally on the task and the ideas being. By raising the stakes of the content so high, trainers successfully bypass their linguistic insecurities.
They're so busy processing the stranger's nuanced perspective on a social that they literally forget to phrase. It is. But to pull off high stakes like that, you have to establish trust and baseline first. Which brings us to how to handle the mundane, everyday realities of adults. Take chronic lateness, for example.
Oh, it is the bane of
Adults get stuck in traffic, meetings run late, family emergencies happen.
Can't avoid it.
And a traditional, rigid instructor might want or deduct points to enforce discipline.
Punish them for having lives.
Yeah. But this trainer adapted the curriculum to reality. He designated the early beginner sessions for peripheral tasks.
Right.
So he utilized standard workbook exercises, sure, but he also integrated games like idiom matching, and literally playing hyper.
And we should clarify, playing in a language classroom is not just a time killer to late.
No, it serves a specific neurological function.
Right.
Playing a fast-paced card game in a second language forces rapid, low stakes.
It gets geared.
Yes. Students to think and react, which won't be language center before the high stakes lesson even begins.
And hide the thimble that physicalizes facial prepositions.
Okay, how so?
Instead of looking at a diagram on a worksheet, they're actually room stating the thimble is under the desk. Or it ties kinesthetic movement directly.
It's just brilliant classroom management. The latecomers don't miss the core lesson. They also walk buzzing with energy and sitting down, awkward, punitive silence.
That walk of shame when you're late.
Exactly. He eliminates that. And really shines through in how the psychological.
Oh, like the story.
Yeah. There's a detailed account in the report about this student, Serene. She gave an oral presentation, and according to she performed.
She didn't believe it.
Right. She lacked confidence and was utterly convinced she had done poorly.
Classic imposters. But what's fascinating here is how he bypasses the usual handholding.
Yeah, he doesn't do the whole very dirty degree.
No, he doesn't try to therapeutically talk her out of it or offer empty platitudes.
Instead, he anchored her to objective data.
Which is so smart.
He gave her the high mark of 96, which in their grading system represents a highly proficient user.
Which she objectively.
Right. He wrote that he graded her based purely on completely disregarding her negative self-assessment. That hard objective validation successfully motivated her involvement in future classes.
He paid profound attention to the emotional landscape of his classroom, but he used data, not just sympathy, to build their confidence.
Okay, but I did find a policy in this report that seemed to contradict that entity completely.
No, which one?
Policy regarding the midterm tests.
Ah, the paper one rule.
Yes. So the exam had two parts. Paper one, challenging extract from a fantasy novel the trainer himself wrote called Offerings.
Which is a whole other interesting detail.
Right. And then there was paper two. That's the portion.
Yeah.
Now, the official policy was that if a student was absent for paper one, they were completely barred from taking paper two.
The hard lockout.
Oh, to lock out. The trainer gives a hypothetical example. Maybe Azra. Even if Azra wrote a flaw without paper one, his max possible score 25 out of 100.
Because of the weight.
Exactly. So the trainer just forbade him ball, supposedly to of zero. Doesn't that seem unnecessarily harsh? Almost ego for a class of adults who might have legitimately missed paper one because of like a work emergency.
It first glance, especially when you just dinner.
Right, the contrast is jarring.
But if we connect to the bigger picture, and if you dig into the problems and counters section of the document, the trainer explicitly addresses this contradiction.
He does.
Yeah. He lists teacher perfectionism as a primary hurdle. He openly admits that he expects way too much out of himself and his students.
So the strict rule was a manifestation of his own flaw.
Partially, yeah. But it evolved into a survival mechanism. He explains that to manage perfectionism, he had to accept his limitations and focus only on the students he could realistically help in that given moment.
Oh, is it?
Trying to orchestrate bespoke makeup exams for busy adults while trying to keep the class moving forward, it ruins the equilibrium of pedagogy.
Equilibrium of pedagogy.
Right. By maintaining that strict boundary of the midterm, he was protecting his own operational bandwidth.
So he couldn't burn himself out.
Exactly. He sacrificed the few who couldn't commit to the schedule so he could be fully present and creatively energized for the students who were consistently in the room. He was balancing his own academic standards with the chaotic reality of the day.
That requires an incredible amount of professional thought.
It really does.
He knew he couldn't save everyone, so he built a system where he could give his absolute best to the ones who actually.
And because of that,
it did. By early 2020, the students were facing complex adult issues like women's rights, marriage, work-life balance.
Yeah, they're highly engaged.
Auto-interest-based presentations on their passions, like tour guides are talking about attraction. Students are presenting on traditional Kazakh food, Chinese New Year, Nasi Lemak.
They moved from just learning a language to living it.
They really did. And then we hit Friday, March 13th, 2020.
The date that fractured the timeline for educators globally.
Yeah. The global outbreak of COVID-19 reaches the tipping point, and the Malaysian government, the movement control.
The MCO.
Reading the report, there's this palpable sudden shift. All physical contact ceased to be.
Just stopped.
Highly anticipated presentation canceled. Final term canceled. If you look at the data tables in the report, be carefully calculated. There are just 3 letters stamped across the columns. MCO.
Wow. It's a chilling visual. All that pedagogical momentum, all those carefully designed marketplace stalls, just hitting an administrative brick wall.
And to compound the disruption, the trainer actually had to resign college during this exact period.
Just terrible timing.
And the conclusion of the class over to a colleague, he writes quite movingly about his deep regret at not being able to see students through to the end.
It is the ultimate heartbreak for an educator leaving a job unfinished, especially the cohort you've invested so much creative architecture into.
But he didn't just walk away and let the MCO be the abrupt story.
Right.
There's this incredible silver lining documented in the final pages. Mentions being inspired by a colleague, Mrs. Lydia, who was actively moving classes online. Even though it wasn't officially required by the government curriculum, then Johann initiated formal supplementary Zoom class on Monday and Wednesday evenings.
Entirely outside the official administrative.
Exactly. It was just 5 or 6 highly committed students logging on for an hour, right up until his vaccination.
This raises an important question about what we actually value in adult education. When the crisis hit, the official exams vanished. The grades, the band 6 scores, the midterm policies, none of it mattered. But the learning continued. This transition to informal Zoom class perfectly encapsulates the trainer's truth. Earlier in the document, he states that the main learning objective was simply to improve the student's confidence in the language. Yeah. The fact that these working adults during a terrifying, unprecedented global health crisis, while locked in their homes, still actively chose to log onto a computer to practice. It proves succeeded.
That's a huge class.
Never there. Building the communicate. The world outside is shutting down.
But what is it all? We started by noting that the course report is usually box and chart.
Yeah.
But this time, Johann is a master class in educational design. It's a blueprint for how to truly adult minds.
Absolutely.
You don't do it with rigid memorization. You do radical empathy, structural peer support, cultural immersion, and extreme adaptability. You let them play games, plays, you let them debate real world issues to bypass their anxiety, and you anchor them into objective success on their own.
And you challenge them to step outside their comfort zone. But that means interviewing strangers on the street about controversial topics or navigating a global lockdown.
Exactly. I want you, the listener, to think about how your own personal learning. When you want to learn a language or dive into a complex subject,
That's the real question.
are you stuck in the rigid mindset of the dry workbook, beating yourself up when you're late or when you miss an idea? Or do you embrace it gallery walk? Do you allow yourself to play with you, build something dynamic out there, and to share it with others, even if the execution is flawless?
You know, the trainer explicitly noted that his own perfection had to consciously overcome in order to actually be of service to his students.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, in your own pursuit of being well informed, mastering a new language, or acquiring a new skill, is your desire to do it perfectly actually the very thing preventing you deeply?
Wow. Thank you for joining us on the extraordinary classroom. Till next time, stay curious.